Hi, my name is Mabel Boycott, and I am denouncing the murders of three victims in Grand Rapids. I also want to tell you that the murderers are concealed by the diocese, and they are Donald Edward Lomashevik, James Bosum, Tom Hack, and there is an additional murder of an artist in Texotitan called Jose Quintana. I denounced him and they did nothing. And I base myself on facts. This is part 2 of Judgment upon the Catholic Church. The woman that was killed in my last video, denouncing in my previous video to this one, the part 1, her name is Mary Garcia, a nun and a servant of the Eucharistic ministry and the preparation of the gift in the Church of San Isidore since we came in 1993 to Grand Rapids, Michigan. This woman was killed on February 28 around 7:30 p.m. I already gave you the facts. The killers are Lomashevik and Hack. They perpetrated also by being influenced by the Petrus Romanus, George Bergoglio, and Louis Bianco. But I have for a fact that John Bosum is the source of all magic, and Lomashevik is a murderer, and Bosum is a murderer, and they add to it Tom Hack under spell and other bullish practices. Now, I also have a witness for the disposal of that woman's body. I couldn't find any exposition of this murder in the media of Grand Rapids. I couldn't find anybody saying that a body was recovered any place, and I was wondering. However, I started searching for bodies of people killed in Grand Rapids during that time, that frame of time, February, beginning of March, and I found that the police ID the body of a man missing in Grand Rapids, and they found it in the Grand River. The man name is Jamal. And it was published in a newspaper in Muskegon, not in Grand Rapids. The newspaper was dated February 12, which is a lie, my darling, because the body was found on March 12, 2017. But the coincidence is that on February 12th, on the time 2015, Pope George Bergoglio told Vatican administration that the church should be absolutely transparent. What a casualty, what a coincidence that that was the date that they said that body appeared. He was a young black man, around 28 years old. And when I read about it, he talked to me, and soul is in safekeeping by God, as it is the soul of Diane Berkus, the one that was murdered in communion with me too, early on in December. Also the soul of Garcia. She is also in safekeeping. Now, as he recounted to me, let me get these papers out so I can read it better. Although this is not fluently, you have to take into account also that I am receiving messages from a dead person, that this person ethnicity is black, that the people of poverty has a different way of thinking. They think eventually, they don't think chronologically. I am teacher, I know that. So it's eventual. So I had to be jumping back and forth when I am reading it to you so I have a coherence. Now, Jamal told me, his name is Jamal Parker. He was killed by Donald E. Lomashevik. Now, he said, I saw a priest tossing a woman in the Muskegon River at 10:30 p.m. on the date of February 28, 2017. Lomashevik was the priest. And I called the police to let them know that I witnessed it. And they happened that a woman took my call. Okay. I talked to a woman, not to a sheriff. And she said, I tell the sheriff about this incident. And instead, they told Lomashevik. And they gave the name and address of the witness. So, when they did that, Lomashevik called him. He called me at around 11 a.m. the next day and told me to visit him at San Isidore. I thought to myself, I am not going, but he said on the phone, I command you to come. Don't receive direct calls from unknown numbers on a cell on your ear. Put always the phone on a speaker and let the machine pick up and you call and return the call later. Because right now it's a risky time. They can put a spell, and this is how it happened. Okay? So he went. He said that he met him at the school lobby that is in the back street, parallel to Diamond Street. And he said, come with me to the basement. I said no because I was alone. And he said, you are coming. And he did something with his hand on my forehead, and I didn't want to go, but I found myself going. The basement smelled like rotten meat, and I saw a hand sticking from a box of styrofoam, color white. A black man hand decomposing around 1 week. When I tried to run to the stairs, he grabbed my belt and knifed me on my heart. This was on March 1st at 10 p.m. somebody called, I cannot denounce that one because they will kill him and his family. But that is the story of Jamal. When I finished reading the article, they said that the body seemed that didn't have any marks or any wounds. But a relative in the article said he had a knife wound. Didn't say where. And I said, wow, this is real. This is the guy. He told me that he died before I read the article because I saw his picture and I stopped reading because he was talking to me. I said, it is real. It is factual, for it is proven in the newspaper after he gave me his speech. Therefore, it is true. And I said, I think that I know who is the person that is in the box. And I'm gonna tell you, it is a humble man, a black man from the neighborhood. I met him in one occasion when I used to go because I volunteered myself to repair the hand of the statue of the Sacred Heart of Jesus that the fingers were broken. And I also repaired and scroll that the statue of Saint Anne, 6-foot statue of Saint Anne with Blessed Mother, had because a kid was hanging from it and broke it. So he appeared with talk. He was a very nice person, very gentle. He said, why you don't hear some music when you're at that? And he left his radio, okay, his boombox, there for me to listen to music when I was doing my work. So I know the guy. The name of the person, I have it here. And he wants justice. He doesn't care, he wants justice. I hope that these people doesn't take it against his family because the family doesn't know. Much about this. And that's not the name. Or let's see if I have it here. Or I'll have it in one of my cards that I have been shuffling around here, and it is a mess for me to find it right now. But I had the name of the person. That is another person that was killed for prisons. Well, my darlings, I cannot continue with the exposition on that name yet, but when the authorities ask for it, I will be ready to give it to them because I knew the man. I know who he's talking. He lives there in College Street, and he has been forever attending San Isidore. So I am not gonna worry about it. Everything in due time for the glory of God. Because we cannot accept considerers of murderers. We cannot accept a lying church. We cannot accept a murderous church. It is impossible. So we'll leave it like that. Thank you. I think the last thing that I had to denounce is Jose Quintana. He is another priest that killed in order not to pay a debt. I denounced him 2 years ago, and they haven't done a thing. He commended a job of a statue 6 feet tall of Our Lady of Guadalupe to Jose Quintana, that was known to make those statues. The price of it, $5,000. He went to pick up the statue with a group of people. But first he went to check if it was ready. Then he said to the artist, I cannot pay you the full amount, I'm only going to pay you 1,000. And he said no. He opened the door, showed him the bills. He also had a revolver there. And they said, I cannot accept $1,000 because the price of the statue is $5,000 and I still had to pay the loans on the materials. And the guy started insulting the artist, and the artist got up from his desk, closed the drawer, went to the door and said, get out of here. Get out now, and when you have the money, you come back and pick it up. Right now, you're not going to take it. Well, the argument heated up. He just went behind the desk, pulled out the gun, and said, man, what are you going to do? And he shot the artist on the right shoulder. And then he picked up a machete and he said, I'm gonna keep you, te voy a capar, hombre, te voy a capar. I'm gonna cut the testicles. That's what it means. Te voy a capar, because you should give it to God. You should give it to the church for free. And he was mad. And he started, first hit was in the abdomen, because he wanted to cut his testes. Later on, it was on the legs and the arms. He was running all around the taller, following the man, and the man trying to escape. He fell down because too much blood, and the priest got on top of him, and he said, you are a devil, a demon. And the man, who was a good man, turned into a demon, his soul. But it was so strong the hatred, so strong the pain, so strong the betrayal, that he pushed the piece somehow a little bit off his balance, and the soul escaped, because he was going to destroy his soul too. And he finished him up, cutting his head, his arms, his legs, stuffed it all in the statue that was hollow, because it is too heavy otherwise, and put some plastic bags between the part of the bodies, the body members, and pushed a lot of plastic bags to make sure that the liquids of the blood, the fluids, won't come out. And then stuffed the statue with the clay of pottery for 1.5 to 2 feet. Waited for it to dry, tell the people that the statue wasn't ready, that it had to wait a week or two. And when it was ready, he called them to come and pick up the statue. The mayor of the town came with him, and that was the one that he picked and said, you don't say a word of what you're gonna see inside, he whispered to the man when they walk away from the truck, from the pickup, because I will kill you just the same. And the man grew pale, and he entered the year, and what he saw made him puke. And he said to him, take that statue and leave today, right now, because tomorrow you'll be dead, not I. Well, he helped him to move the statue to the truck. All the men put the statue on the pickup, standing up, and he starts singing songs of praise to Blessed Mother and songs of praise to God, because the generous poor artists had given them the statue for free to the church. That's sacrilegious, cold-blooded murder, and it was very repulsive that he was thanking God for the crime that he just committed, to steal the livelihood and the life of a person that affected a whole family. That was he was the breadwinner, and he couldn't feed her mom for 2 months. Now, they came 18 stations. I checked. The murder occurred in 2000, and in the story of the shrine was the famous story of the statue that had how do you call it, a pilgrimage of 18 churches. Hmm? In that pilgrimage, the last church that he visited was in my town, where Mrs. Boycott is the bilingual teacher of 3 county districts. I was a supervisor. I knew everybody. And my husband volunteered to help, but they didn't allow him to ride with the statue. They didn't allow me. He said, you go home. He said, you can go home. I just followed him with my pickup because we went in different cars. And I knew why. Because he can listen my mind. Because my mind was open to all the priests of the church, since Lord Mashevic hooked me up into it since 2006. That idiot. They went with other people, Mexican people, Mexicans, Hispanic people, because there are also Mexicans, American there. And they got the statue. My husband helped because he's a very big man and he is a kind heart. But he doesn't pay attention to details, especially if he doesn't understand what is the people is talking up and down. He helped to put the statue inside. They sent him to the front, to the head, by an older Hispanic fellow that this priest had influenced mentally. I won't say names. But that was done with a purpose, because they start noticing. The other men didn't. But this man and the priest noticed that fluid was leaking out of the statue, because on the trajectory they found a change of light and they had to press the brakes, and the statue banged against the door for its own force and the weight, boom, and almost opened the door but dented it. So it shuffled these plastic bags that were there, and when they turned it up, since the statue was for the first time down in a van, after traveling the whole trajectory up for 18 weeks, that thing, all the liquids were up, and the cadaver must have been rotten already. So they got into the church. He opened the door, let the people in, and waited outside because he was afraid. When the others parishioners look down, they see a trail that goes from the door, because it was a different type of flooring, it's not concrete, to where they placed the statue. And someone said, is anybody cut or hurt? There is blood on the floor. And they say, no, nobody. They check. My husband left. He put the statue up. I don't understand anybody. And done. Thank you. Bye bye. He didn't pay attention to anything. That is the way he goes. But the Hispanic people, when you bend down to, because he was on the head, he didn't have to bend down. But the ones that are putting the statue down, putting it in the place, they had to look at the floor. And they saw the trail of blood. And when they look around, the priest wasn't here. One touched it, it's blood, it's red, it's blood. And the smell, I don't know what kind of smell it must have, but it's blood. But when they went and looked for the priest, he was still out. And they said, Padre, the Virgin is bleeding, and a miracle. And he said, I will check it tomorrow before the janitor cleans it. And he didn't get inside the church. Clock the door. Let's go. We're all tired. That tells you the mind of a criminal. The other thing that happened, he said that John Paul II blessed the statue. He never had heard in his itinerary to visit that town or for anybody to go and present a statue for the blessing in front of the people. It wasn't done. I checked the archives of Vatican. It didn't happen. So he put a lie there on his side. When the statue was blessed in Grand Rapids, it wasn't blessed in San Francis Xavier. The celebration of Mass was done by supposedly holy priests at the San Andres, that is the cathedral, because supposedly this Quintana said many people was going to attend. Nobody attended that much, but what he didn't want is that one of the priests that he considered holy or saint will know that that statue was the coffin of the artist. They would have known, they would have seen. But I talked to the priest and he said, I knew it. I saw when he did the chalice and the consecration, I excused myself from drinking from the cup. The other two managed the host, but he did the wine. I saw his hands full of blood. But they didn't say anything. Everything concealed. Nobody spoke. And when I asked 10 years later, I only had the written messages that I exchanged with my friends, the Hispanic community, that told me that they saw the blood. When I tried to go there personally, everybody was intimidated by the thing. And I understand, because you fear the murder and the murderers. Nobody wants to be involved in something like that. But I said to Wood TV 8, miracle or murder? Please investigate for me. For the paranormal can be deceiver, but I have evidence and testimony of the people of the Hispanic community that they saw the statue bleed, leave a trail of blood. They contact the bishop, and the first thing said, that woman's crazy. She's schizophrenic, declared her schizophrenic. So, well, the bishop knows maybe for anyone else. And they didn't further any investigation. I talked to WCCM 13. They conceal everything. I requested some things when on a letter to the bishop. I requested my paintings that I had been asked to give to the church by Lomasevique mentally, and he forced me mentally, knowing that if they believe that I am a psychotic person, then they are taking advantage of my illness to possess what I have, that are my paintings. my paintings and other belongings. I asked them back. Ramashevik denies everything. The, the bishop said that, and I say he's a liar because I know he went to visit, he saw the paintings, he requests, he saw other things that he requests, and whatever I had locutions in 2011, December 2011 to 2015, August. And they said that those voices were crazy. But between the locutions, they tried to discredit and interfere with the messages that I was receiving because they didn't want the redemption of the people and they didn't want me to be saint. I know that one of the priests that carried the cause for my sanctification as beatification, so I could give the messages to the world, was killed with heart attack. He was old, was soon working his heart for the heart attack, and he really died. The name of the priest, I don't have it. He had a blog on the Sacred Heart of Jesus. The blog disappeared. The trace of the priest's name disappeared. Everything disappeared, and it's not the first time that happened. But I don't talk about that because I don't have proof. The proof is the murder of Quintana is real. He's a murderer. The murder of Mary Garcia is real. It's a murder. Diana Berpes, I felt it. Both of them, I felt it. It's a murder. Jamal saw it. He was killed. It's a murder. And he saw the hand of a person that I knew, and that person told me they killed me because I opened the door for that nun. I was coming out, she was coming in, and I held the door open, and they didn't want witnesses. They killed me. And there was no one else, no other priest, no nothing. They are trying me to confuse my facts, and they're adding people saying, I am this spirit, I am that spirit, and I tell you, what I know, and I know what is true, because God is with me, and He wants to cleanse the church from all sorceries, and He wants life for the people, and they are not giving it. We need to secede from Rome. We need to convict those priests, and they had to be on capital punishment, because the threat of controlling a being on the mind, to make it move, to make it think, to come into your mind and make you say things that you don't mean, is a threat to the powers of this nation. Is a threat to the national security of the world, because he Bergoglio shakes hands with all the leaders that he wants to affect. There you have the anniversary of the Italian Union, European Union in Italy, that was formed there. Guess what? Who was going to be there? Every person that I contacted in the psychic world has shaken hands by Bergoglio months after. Not before, months after. I don't care. Right now, this is my account. My account and my country. I had to protect my family. I had to protect the people that are the Hispanics that are there. I had to protect the Americans that are in Grand Rapids. Don't send your children to Catholic schools. They get influenced. Don't go to the churches, the Catholic churches, because there is a network. I know that we are 66 million Catholics in America, and there are 44,000 priests. The ones that they have influence are 1,500 priests, and that is a battalion, because you cannot stop sorcery that easily. My God knows. I know. Between charades of lies of these people in my mind, God fights his fights, And I tell you, the pain is real. And I am not sitting in Ken Slayer's chair. They are, because they are the ones killing the people to produce pain. I said, man, if you want to kill somebody and produce pain somehow, why don't you use the voodoo dolls? Learn from them. Now it's my time to go. Thank you very much. This is Mabel Boycott. I am real. And the pain and the hell is real. And the dark powers are real. Read Ephesians 6:10. That is what we're dealing with. Thank you very much.